Hi, my name is Becky and I'm a co-founder here at Fresh Prep. Today we're in the test kitchen with Meeru, who is from Vij's restaurant here in Vancouver, and she's a cookbook author, a chef, and co-owner there. And she's gonna be taking us through one of the most famous recipes, one of my favorites. What are we cooking today?
So we're gonna make a Vij's chickpea curry, and then we're gonna top that with some sauteed spicy peas. And the curry itself is all vegan. The naan is not, but the whole point of this dish is to show how in Indian cuisine, vegan cooking is really satisfying and it's rich, and you're gonna love it.
Hearty, it's got a lot of flavors. I'm so excited to get cooking. Great, so we'll start off by introducing some of our ingredients here. We have Yukon Gold potatoes, fresh cilantro, chickpeas, diced onions, fresh ginger, some diced tomatoes, basmati rice, Vij's masala spice blend, chili flakes, some ground cumin and some cumin seeds, some full fat coconut milk, some crushed tomatoes, fresh garlic, turmeric, and green peas, and then of course our naan bread. And we're gonna get right into cooking. So I've preheated our oven to 425 degrees, and we're gonna start with step one, which is preparing our potatoes and cilantro. Okay. So I'll be your prep cook if you like. You can direct me. I'm gonna start with
That's my favorite thing to do, is direct.
Okay, great. Glad we're on this team. So I'm gonna dice these, right?
Yeah. Okay. So remember, when you're washing the cilantro and washing the potatoes, make sure you pat it all dry. Because one thing about cooking with Indian spices, you don't want any unnecessary water sticking to anything.
And so I'm just dicing these into 3/4 inch pieces. How is that looking?
That looks great.
Okay, okay, perfect. And then I'm going to do what with my cilantro? Just a mince or?
So I suggest a mince, or like it depends on how you like it. It really doesn't matter because cilantro is cilantro. I just want to make sure that everybody keeps the stems of the cilantro. It's really important that the whole entire cilantro plant is used as an herb.
And do you grind it up or?
Well, if I'm making a chutney, you grind it up.
Yeah. That. Okay, how's that?
That's perfect. And again, the cilantro is all about how you enjoy it.
Absolutely, okay. So we've got a rough chop there, and I think our next step here is to begin our curry.
Let's get going. So I'm gonna get the pot. If you've got a pot at home, the heavier the bottom, right, the better your curry is gonna taste, right? And you want a heavy bottom pot because the saute of the onion, it's one of the most important things that's gonna add layers to your curry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put the gas on here. Okay, so put that here. And then we're just gonna heat this up. Oil you can always add more of as you're sauteing. You just wanna make sure that it's not too little. You wanna basically cover the bottom of the pot.
Okay, so you don't wanna see any holes?
You don't wanna see any holes.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so heat up the oil a little bit. There we go.
So ginger, I think diced tomatoes in there.
So, sauteing of the onion. The reason why you slice an onion or you chop it in bigger pieces is because you want a sweeter curry. Okay, but the smaller you dice the onion, and then the more you saute it, you don't want it dark brown, okay, but you want it a really rich golden brown. And so the smaller you dice and the more you saute, the richer the onion flavor is gonna be in your curry as well. Stir it around. And now you can hear that sizzle coming up, right?
Yeah.
And we're not using a whole lot of onion in this dish because we're gonna really saute it. You can hear the sizzle, right? It's very important that you're hearing the sizzle when you're sauteing onions.
Okay.
Without the sizzle, they're just gonna kind of wilt away, and they're just gonna do this little thing. They're not getting, So we're gonna do this for a couple of minutes, and then we can just leave it like that.
And yeah, because you're right, I see the sizzle, but I don't see a lot of color yet, right? So we're gonna wait for the color and really see that deep brown you're talking about. Yeah. And so this is a very special blend that you've made for us here. What do we have in this spice blend?
So in order.
Okay.
In order. So it's coriander spice, which is the spice version of cilantro.
Okay.
Coriander spice. Then we've got cumin. Both of those are organic. And then after that, we've got mango powder. And mango powder just adds a little zest to the curry. Turmeric. And then cayenne pepper and asafoetida.
Okay.
Right. So that's like the Vij's curry masala. And you're gonna find that in most Indian food, you're using variations of the same spices. It's how you use them okay, and what amounts you use them in relation to the tomato, the onion, the cilantro, that you're gonna have Indian flavors, but they're gonna be very different from each other. So again, if you look at it right now, it's your personal choice. You could start cooking now, right? But I'm gonna keep going. Okay. And it's gonna be a sweeter smell.
Yeah.
And then the more I saute it, right, it's gonna get like roastier and toastier of a smell.
Gorgeous.
And if this is your first time doing this or your second time doing it, you can reduce the heat a little bit, right? You don't have to do it at the high heat or the medium heat that I'm doing it at right now. And remember, everybody's stoves at home are different, right? Gas stove is different than an electric stove, is different than an induction stove. So find your medium.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Find the
has to
medium on your
sizzle.
stove.
It has to sizzle.
Yeah. And even the cookware that you're using on the stove, right? So it's like the combination of the stove, the cookware, the heat level, right? And just finding that. So I love that you're giving us the tips about what to look for in the pan, because that's really going to help you determine where your heat should be at.
All right, so now if you look at it, right?
Oh, beautiful.
You've got some dark brown pieces in it, right? You've got some golden brown. Because once I add the ginger, right, it's going to start sauteing less.
Okay.
So now here's what I call golden brown.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
and then here goes the ginger.
Okay.
Stir that in. The tomatoes. It'll be written in a specific order in the curry, but you just want to add them all at the same time.
Okay.
Put that there. Gonna reduce the heat a little bit. Okay.
So this is to taste. So adding the masala to taste.
So it's to taste, and it depends on just how spicy and how rich you want your curry.
Okay.
I like spicy, rich curry, so I'm gonna add the whole amount.
Okay. But you could adjust if you want.
Yes, you can adjust it, and I understand that it says cayenne pepper in here, and we've got cayenne pepper over there.
Yes.
This is not overkill,
Yeah.
right? This is like your base. So I'm gonna put that in.
Okay. Beautiful.
Okay. Oh, what else?
And then we've got some cumin powder.
Let's put the
as
cumin
well.
powder in here. All right. And again, this is a vegan dish, and so you want to make sure that because you don't have like the richness of like chicken bones or fish or anything like that, you want the spicing to be nice.
There's some salt. How's that? A little more?
To your taste, right? So I would put in about maybe a little bit less than a teaspoon. So I'm just stirring it up, and it's becoming pasty now, right? And it'll look like it's sticking to the bottom of the pan. As long as it's this beautiful red orange color, everything is fine.
Okay.
And do you see how it's kind of pasted up?
I do.
Okay, it's pasted up and the oil is glistening in here, so your masala is ready.
Okay.
Okay, the masala is ready to go. Think about masala. You've got the dry masalas, which are the dry spices, and now you've got your wet masala.
I see.
Okay, and this is now the formation of your curry.
And I think at this stage too, you were recommending maybe adding some of the red pepper flakes to taste?
And it's optional.
Okay.
It's optional.
So I'll let you.
Okay, so I'm gonna probably put half of that. And I'm only doing half right now just so you can see the difference. You can add this at the very end as well.
Yeah, and adjust.
I would add the full amount, but I like spicy food.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now we put in the coconut milk.
Coconut milk. We'll get 1 cup of coconut milk for you. So you are going to have a little bit of extra coconut milk that we sent along here. So just save that. Here we go.
Put that in there.
Yep.
If you love coconut milk, you can add the whole amount.
Okay.
Okay. You can add the whole entire amount of coconut milk. I don't want it too rich.
Okay.
Like sometimes it's just too rich and you can't eat a lot of it.
Can't eat
but
a
if
lot.
you love coconut milk, you can add the whole amount and it's not going to make your curry less spicy or anything like that.
Okay.
So now we can start adding everything else to it.
Perfect. So I've got 1 cup of water measured for
let's
you
put that in
here.
here.
Okay.
And once you add everything, just make sure you're stirring it.
And then potatoes?
Yep. Put all that in there. The good thing is, and I want to make sure people know that it's not a peeled potato.
Yeah.
And don't peel it because a lot of the nutrition is in the peel itself. Right? Wash it.
Wash it
right,
really
but
well.
include that peel. We're going to boil it.
So I have some basmati rice here. This rice has been pre-rinsed and drained. So you're just trying to remove some of that starch and like anything that can be kind of coating the rice. So that's going right into a pot, and I'm gonna add 1 1/4 cups of salted water and a tablespoon of butter.
Because if you are going to be making a vegan dish, you can replace that tablespoon of butter with a tablespoon, a half a tablespoon of whatever cooking oil you prefer to use. Grapeseed oil. Not olive oil because you got to boil it, right? But any high heat temperature oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Okay, so this is boiling
Okay.
right now, and I'm just gonna cover it up and reduce the heat,
Okay.
and then let the potatoes simmer.
And there's our rice pot, which we'll put on this burner over here.
Okay.
We're gonna boil it first.
Bring it to a boil on
Yeah.
high, right? Yeah, once it boils, you wanna stir, because any rice that's sticking to the bottom of the pot, right? The stirring, it just kind of moves it all around.
I'm gonna get my naan
That's right.
prepared. So we're gonna heat this in the oven that we have going. And an easy way to do this too, I find at home, is you could heat it up in a skillet like this, just kind of putting it.
There are so many ways to do this naan.
Yeah.
So you can either, if you have a skillet, and if you are comfortable with just skillet heating, just heat it up on a skillet. You don't need to put it in the oven. The other way to do it, honestly, is just cut it up and just put it in the toaster.
Put it in the toaster.
Put it
Yeah,
in
the
the
toaster
toaster.
oven I
Yeah.
use a lot too for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to heat up the entire oven unless you need to. So I'm just gonna wrap that up in foil, and that's gonna help it prevent it from drying out too when I put it in the oven. It's
If
just
you
gonna-
do toast it on,
Yeah.
do it closer to serving,
right,
right?
yes.
Because it's bread
Yeah.
and it's going to dry out.
Yeah. We're going to test to see if our potatoes are ready and cooked.
Yeah.
So what should we
So,
be?
Just stick a fork in there.
Okay. What do you think?
I think it's done.
It's done?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to add the chickpeas to it.
Right.
And
okay.
so when you bring that boil again, the potatoes are going to cook another 2 or 3 minutes with the chickpeas.
Right,
So just
okay.
let's add the chickpeas.
Okay. There we
Stir
go.
it in.
While you're stirring, I'm just going to pop our naan bread into the oven.
Okay. I've stirred in the chickpeas.
Okay.
And I'm just going to bring it to one more boil.
Okay.
And rice is done as well.
Fantastic.
This is not boiling. And you're going to see a little bit. Do you see that oil separating?
I do. Yes. So it's a little bit of a different color.
You see a little bit of that glistening oil up on
Yep.
top, right? That just means that all the spices are cooked through.
Okay.
That's it. So
Indicator.
this is done as well. And then we're just going to turn this off. And then so now you can either stir in the cilantro now,
Okay.
okay? Or you can wait, and if you want a fresher taste of the cilantro, you can add the cilantro right before you're serving. I'm gonna sizzle cumin seeds in here, okay? Now, watch this technique carefully, because if you know how to sizzle cumin seeds, you can then add sizzled cumin seeds to your rice, right? And it flavors up your rice. You can boil potatoes, okay? And then just saute them in cumin seed. And so this is a really nice little subtle addition of flavor in a million different dishes.
And just one ingredient you can kind of have in your
it.
repertoire.
That's it, yeah. So all right, so for the cumin seeds, the heat needs to be on.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it here.
And we want it on what? Medium?
Medium high.
Medium high.
So remember,
okay.
your stoves are different at home, but it has to be hot enough, right, to sizzle. And again, the heavier the bottom, the better.
Okay.
If it's a super light frying pan, right, it's gonna heat really fast and burn really fast.
Okay. So also good to know, if you have a really light frying pan that you're using, make sure you're watching it.
Make sure you're watching it and
Yeah.
you're holding it like this.
Yeah.
So this is a really fast process.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, hold on, I just said that, but then don't worry at home if you say, oh no, she said fast and mine is going slow. It's
Okay.
okay, it's all right.
Okay.
You don't want to drown the cumin seed in oil.
Okay.
But then you need enough oil to cook them. You just put these in,
Okay.
and you just want to make sure that it's covered. There's plenty of oil. You just want to make sure it's covered. All right, so now, about 30 seconds, okay? You see it sizzling?
Oh yes. You see those little bubbles coming up.
And it's gonna turn a darker brown. The cumin seeds are gonna turn darker brown.
Okay.
And you hear that, right?
Yep.
The bubble, the sizzle,
Yep.
dark brown, 30 seconds. And this is a magic flavor. All
If
right,
you're feeling
so now,
experimental.
okay, we're gonna lower the heat a little bit,
Okay.
and I'm gonna add the garlic.
Garlic first. Okay.
So now it's gonna sizzle. You're gonna stir it in.
Beautiful.
Keep your head away. Once you add the garlic, the cumin's not cooking anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's heating through, but it's not gonna burn.
Okay.
Okay, so you just saute that garlic. You just wanna make sure the garlic is like a nice golden brown.
Okay.
You don't want raw garlic in here.
Okay.
No. So now, this is all nicely cooked through.
Oh yeah, and you can really see that
The
golden.
brown, right?
Yeah.
The golden brown.
Yep. Now we want the tomato.
Now we're gonna have the tomato.
Yeah. So this is our crushed tomato, so that's the one without the chunks.
So it's gonna splatter. So what you're gonna wanna do is hold the frying pan off like this.
Okay. So not direct.
Don't get scared of this. So now we're gonna add the spices.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go with turmeric.
Okay.
It's gonna cook quite fast. Salt.
And a little bit of salt. There we go.
Okay. Okay, cayenne pepper. Let's put that in here.
Oh, the smell is so good. Perfect. And then our peas.
And then the peas. Go stir that in. Now, you saw that sizzling, remember? And everything was splattering up there?
Yep.
It's well, I mean, I'm very comfortable with it, right? It's because my frying pan was hot.
Okay.
Stir this really well. The peas are already cooked through because
They're peas.
they're peas. Okay.
So I have my naan taken out of the oven now. It's nice and toasty warm. I can feel it. And we're gonna finish our curry.
Yep.
Okay.
Put the cilantro, stir it into the chickpeas and the potato. So remember, the potatoes cooked more.
Okay. Yes. As it was sitting. Yeah. And all of the cilantro?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good. Oh, and that adds such a nice, pretty, fresh green color. Okay. So we've got our cilantro in, we've got our peas, we've got our rice, and we're gonna plate.
Yep. And I just want to point out, so this is a very tomatoey pea dish, right? And the tomatoes and the peas, they really complement the velvetness of the coconut milk. So again, what we're doing is we're layering 2 different curries on top of each other. Okay, and I'm going to use this spoon here.
Put it down so we can.
So it's up to you. You can serve the chickpeas with the peas on the side, right? And then mix and match it on your own plate, or I can just top it up right now.
Ooh, kind of like as an extra flavor.
As an extra flavor, yeah. Kind of like a garnish and huge flavor complement. There we go.
That looks beautiful.
This rice really comes out perfectly.
Yeah.
How's that?
That looks gorgeous.
Got the rice.
And there you have it.
So we're just gonna top it up here.
Ooh, okay. And the colors are fantastic. Let's dig in.
Try it as well.
The layers, like you said, just so phenomenal.
All right, and the texture of the peas.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and the silky smoothness of the
curry.
curry. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Well, thank you so much for being in the kitchen here today with us. It's been such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure learning how to make all of your most famous, delicious dishes here, and I really appreciate you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
It just pleases me every single time I'll make the same dish, and it never ceases to please me. And any feedback, any questions, anything, I love hearing
Yeah.
about people's experience making my food at home.
Absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
make sure that we get all of your comments and your questions to Meeru, so please send in your feedback. hello@freshprep.ca.
And I'll read it.
And we'll read it, yeah. Thank you again.
Thanks.